Hello there. My name is Taha and I'm from Opti-Learn, and today I'm going to be showing you my Guess the Color challenge I made using the Lego Mindstorms EV3 robot. So the robot's mission is to go inside this box, take a light sensor reading of the color inserted into the slot at the back of the box, which is this right over here, and it'll save the value into a variable. It's going to return outside the box and display the saved value on its screen.
So now I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the Reflected Light Challenge program. So as you see here, this is the beginning of the program. The first block is a move steering block, and this is just going to turn the motors on, and the robot will go forward forever until the robot or the ultrasonic sensor senses an object or a wall less than 4 centimeters away from the robot, and then it'll move on in the program, and the next block is a move steering block, and it's telling the robot to just turn the motors off or basically stop on the spot. The next block is a color sensor block, and what this block does is it measures the reflected light intensity, as you can see here. Measure reflected light intensity, and it outputs this data wire is basically outputting the value into this next block, which is a variable block. So the previous block, this color sensor block, outputs the value into this variable, and it'll basically just write to this value, reflected light value, and it's a numeric value, and it'll just be saved. So you're basically, I'm giving the robot 5 seconds of time just to wait and do all this stuff, and just so it can basically get a good reading, because if I gave it 1 second, for example, it would like maybe not get a proper reading. So 5 seconds, in my opinion, is enough for this robot to get a good light sensor reading and save it into the variable. And then it's just going to move outside the box, go backwards 4 rotations, and it'll just stop the motors then. Next, it'll read from the value which we saved over here, reflected light value. It's going to read, and the next value is a text block. The next block is a text block, and what this does is it just displays the text value, and then underneath that, the next block is another text block, and it just displays whatever value is inputted into this block from this reflected light value variable, and it'll just display the value right under this, and so on the robot it will just display the value. Again, the next block is a variable block. It reads the value, and it'll output it into the next block, which is a range block. So what this range block does is basically this value, when it reads from the value, the test value is inputted into this range block, and what it does is basically it tests to see if the value inputted into this block is between the lower bound and the upper bound, which you can specify right over here. And according to the so if it's inside, it will give a yes result. If it's not inside the range, it'll give a no result. So this output is a logic, so it's green, which stands for logic, and the next block is a switch block. So if I zoom out here, you're going to see that I have many of the same or similar looking things here. So basically what I have here is one variable block, so all here. So they're all doing the same thing, reading from the variable. Then I have range blocks, and these all have the same settings. The only difference is that the range is different. So for example, this is 0 to 8, this is 25 to 36, this is 38 to 50, and so on. And so basically, if the value outputted by this range block is true, it'll continue on in the program. It'll select the top half of the switch, and if not, it'll go to the bottom. So let's say this is true. So let's say the value is between 0 to 8. Then it'll continue on in the program, and it'll do the top half, and it'll give the guess black. And this just goes on and on. So there's a switch. There's this one switch right here. Inside another switch, inside another switch, inside another switch, inside another switch. So these all have different values, and they're all giving different guesses. So for example, if the value is between 25 to 36, then it'll give a guess light blue. If it's between 0 to 8, it'll give the guess black, like I mentioned before. And if the value is between 30 to 50, it'll give the guess red. And of course, it's also gonna say it out loud. And if the value is between 68 to 82, it'll give the guess white. And if it's between 60 to 65, it'll give the guess yellow. And if it's not inside any of these ranges, then the robot is basically just going to say uh-oh out loud, and on the screen it'll just write question mark, question mark, question mark. It gives up the robot. And the next block is a wait block. So this basically, the robot waits for 10 seconds. So I could change this to 1 second, and all this could happen in a matter of picoseconds or milliseconds, really, really fast, of course, since it's a computer. But I've set this to 10 seconds, so whoever wants to read the value, they have 10 seconds to basically read the value or whatever the robot says out loud or is saying on its screen. So it'll just display the value on its screen and the guess for 10 seconds, and that's the end of the program. Okay, so now let's move on to the demonstration.
So now I'm here with the demonstration. I'm going to be running the program. Here's the EV3. And now let's go to the back of the box. And we are going to be inserting the black color first to test. Okay, it's in. And now I'm just going to run the program, make sure the robot is straight, and here we go. So it's just reading the value of the color, the reflected light value. And now it became outside the box. It gave the guess black. The value was 4. We're going to be testing the same program with the color red inserted into the back of the box. Okay, so once again, I'm going to make sure the robot is straight. And I'm just going to run the program. It guessed correctly once again. The value was 41 and it guessed red. So now we're going to be testing the program, and we're going to be inserting the color white into the back of the box. Okay, the color is in, and now I'm just going to make sure the robot is straight, and once again we're going to run the program. It gave the guess white. It guessed correctly. The value was 78. So that was the reflected light guess the color challenge by at Opti-Learn. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. And I just wanted to give a note here that the robot does not always guess correctly. Sometimes the value is outside the given range and it will guess incorrectly. And so, yeah, that also happens. That happens according to ambient light. But anyway, so that was the video, and I hope you enjoyed it.